time for us to tap in third eye open like the river. I be running thoughts glowing, popping up with idea. Yes, yes, you can tell a friend that I'm Smitty. I'm the Mr. 007. I'm not here to preach the gospel, but I goes in like the Reverend. Shoes off when I walk in and keep it chillin' peaceful. I'm the neurotoxins fighting off the disease. Cool and collected, well respected. Save the drama for your mama. Speak your mind, hit the lip, kick you chew. Every person in the building come up and tell me what you think. I retired from the streets, now pushing content and chill beats. Gotta keep your head up even when you feel defeats.
Welcome to my channel, welcome to my show. Smitty on the corner, 007, bro. This is for you, not me, so smash the like button. Every time you see me subscribe, you should tell a homie all about the dope videos and good vibe. Yes, I'm live, high vibe to the good guys, but we move like good fellas. Light Hive, Street One, yes, we do it better.
Legacy that can never be a duplicate. You went through your pain and weathered the storms that were sent your way. I remember every moment then where you always stayed in my corner. My father, my first superhero. When I was 100 on the scale, you would take it back to 0. You taught me life and that comes with your terrific. My best friend to be Pacific. Yes, I miss you in the physical. Be you no longer suffer. Yes, you will be missed by sisters and your brothers, plus your wife, my mother. Thank you so much for staying in touch. Even through your absence, I feel you still near. Playing on your Congo drums, listening to Kool and the Gang, while dance like in 99. You prepared for this day, so I got all from here. Yes, I saw you dream. Next day I shed a tear. Let's make it clear, no fear. Yes, I'm still in the clear. This for Father, thank you, Michael. Rest easy in the love in heaven. Breeze with the rest of the family.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2. I think I'm about ready. I think we're gonna give it a shot. All right. I have absolutely nothing prepared for this live. I just know I wanted to speak on greatness. That's what I do know. All right. So let's go ahead and get to it. Respect. Welcome back to another episode of Smitty's Corner, aka Lighthouse _301. So for this segment right here, briefly, what I just want to kind of get off, get my lungs out the street, as we would say around here, right? The legacy and what I'm going through. I never realized until finally my father passed away that how difficult it is truly when it comes to this circumstance. Have I had people that's passed away before? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been people that's passed away before, but nothing to what I've felt in this extent, right? Okay. The main thing that I want to speak about tonight primarily is the value aspect and what I remember. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, when they say that men suffer in silence, I shit you not, dog. That is something I'm definitely going through. I'm definitely going through it. I've been trying my best to figure out a way to cope with it. I personally have never dealt with something to this extreme. I know that, see, the thing is that, you know why I've been mainly quiet about it for the most part? Like I've shot it out there. I've let people know, right? But you know why I haven't really made a noise about it? It's because I recognize that everybody goes through their own pain. Everybody goes through something. What it is that I'm going through is no different. You got people that had to go through what I went through, like back when they were kids. But does it mean that the pain is any different? I shit you not. I really, really have been struggling for the last week now. And this shit ain't been easy to try to navigate. It's not easy to navigate. Value. The true value that a person brings into your life. How do you truly see that value that a person brings into your life? What marks can you make on a person's life to impact them? So that way, when you're gone from here, it'll take them quite some time to even recognize that you're not here. Like, I'm so fighting in between. He's really gone. Like, I'm dealing with that right now. Like, I'm struggling with that. Like, he's actually not here anymore. You're talking about a man that always was able to bounce back. You're talking about a man that, despite whatever it was he was going through, he always made it through it. And when you finally see and can hear how the motor, the engine's dying in that vessel, that vehicle that spirit is encased in, that's when it really truly all hits. You just start to hear it. You can tell, like, this ain't one that he's going to bounce back from. And I've been on the edge about it, right? Because it's like, I'm really still in the headspace of, nah, he about to come back. Like Tupac, like he about to come back. And that's not the case. That's not the case. I was wondering, what does he feel right now? And I keep on getting this reassurance that he's at peace. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to put it in words. But I do recognize that I believe that he was genuinely in a state of peace. There's nothing extreme going on. It's just a neutral state of peace is the indications that I get, although I can be completely wrong. I have no clue, but I know that that's what comes to me. And I believe it. I believe he's at peace. Due to the fact of his track record as a human, he definitely did his job. There's no such thing as a perfect person. There's no such thing as that. But what there is such thing as is the person who absolutely continue to strive. A lot of people would have gave up and just been going around real angry and salty. My father continuously was able to show and give love in spite of he was going through so much himself. He was actually able to still give that. Respect to the family. Don't mind me. This is just, like I said, it's nothing planned. I'm just going to keep venting, just keep going for a little bit, and just get it out my system, right? Because, like, I know a lot of people may wonder because, even when I was on a live last night, I believe it was Brother Kwafi. Shout out to you, Brother Kwafi. He was saying something about I'm handling what's going on a lot different. As in, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's indicating that most people will be shut down and broken down a lot faster, considering they're going through what I'm going through, right? And what I will continuously be of a reminder of is to let you know that this is what the benefits of when you prepare. I really wonder how many of us, when we talk to our kids, right? When you talk to your kids or when you talk to people, I'm not saying like bombard people with it, but when the timing is right, it was something about his timing was so, except for when we was watching the game. Like I said, that was the only time Dad had bad timing. It's like, come on, Dad. But he knew when to throw it in. He knew when to just keep that bug in your ear, right? Keep that little whistle, keep that birdie in your ear. It's peaceful on the other side and life continues. You don't have to be scared or worried about anything. Life continues, right? And I really wonder, like, although we do take our family to church, so on and so forth, we may read the Bible or the Quran, whatever it is that you subscribe to, right? How much do we really dive into the discussion of when one is no longer here? How much do we really do that? How often nowadays do you actually have a discussion with somebody about the crossing over and the other side? And it not be just on some, it's painful or anything else. No, genuinely, how often do you have a conversation about what happens when all of this is over? Out of everything that we continuously talk about that is of here, do you ever talk about what can easily happen right then and there at the blink of an eye the very next day and you're no longer here? Have you prepared? I was thinking about things like wills and everything else as far as for when I go. I'm a father. I have a child. And I was thinking about that. If I was to leave from here today or tomorrow, how prepared do I, not myself, how prepared do I have my family? How prepared, how much did I ready them for what can happen to me any day, today or tomorrow? Just follow me on what I'm saying. My father left such a tremendous cookie trail to exactly where he knew he was going off rip. My father been suffering from migraine headaches. He was suffering from a kidney problem, lost both his kidneys, had a transplant, and he had one kidney that was from my cousin. Shout out to my cousin, Daryl. Thank you, cuz. Again, thank you for extending Dad's life. Thank you. If you never think I told you. So taking time and thinking about what it is that my father left behind throughout the time period in which he was here, right? Was he perfect? No. Do I have endless stories of I couldn't stand dad at that moment? Yes. But I have an infinity. I have forever and a day memories of laughter and how much I love that man. Okay, so, earlier I was talking about not taking life for granted. I was talking about a few questions in regards to like, what's this right here? What moments in your life made you realize how important life is? Like just that, for example, right? There have been too many moments in my life where I had to recognize that. And a lot of them came from seeing how easily my father can be taken away from us. I have been thinking about the concept of life so vigorously because that's the impression that he left with me. Try to figure out what's the best way for you to transition over in the most peaceful state. And what's crazy, even down to the religious text that I have subscribed to, it speaks a lot about that. And my father has nothing to do with the religious text that I subscribe to. He's not of that. He is a man that lived his life knowing that he is God's child and he's loved and he's protected and he's a praying, God-fearing man. And he goes in his life treating people how he knows people should be treated according to how he wants to be treated. And he followed the commandments. That's the best way I can put it. But I'm also seeing how, man, he really was prepared. When I look back on all of the discussions that me and my pops always had, he was ready. He was ready. He kept himself ready so he didn't have to get ready. And you know something? I'm so thankful that he prepared me and the rest of the family for that. I remember even when my mother called me, right? Just a small example before we take a commercial break. I remember when my mom's called me and she was telling me dad's gone, because she also gave me a call earlier and said, can you please prepare the office that you have up front so that he can come in and stay there? Can you do that for him? I said, yeah, no problem. So started working on that, moving furniture around out of the office to clear out the space and everything to make sure that he can be welcomed in, right? But then about an hour or two later, I then got the call, cancel, he passed. So I was preparing for him to come home the day that he actually did pass. I was going to go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, like, do everything I can to try to take care of my father. All right. Okay, cool. So the thing about it is, when I was speaking to my mother, it's like she had this, what almost appeared to be extra calm. And then she finally called me back after we got off the phone. She got off the phone pretty quick with me after that. She called me back a little bit later and she said, Dad wanted me to tell you he's at peace. And then at that very moment, I told her about the dream that I've already told you guys about, as far as I had a dream right before my father passed that we were in a big warehouse-like store and he was purchasing a mattress and a blanket. So everything coordinates, everything correlates, everything connects. And that's when everything for me started to really sink in that this is real. Okay, I'm seeing that this is real at this point. Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We're going to talk a little bit more when I get right back after this quick commercial message. Much respect to you. Thank you for tuning in.
Legacy that can never be a duplicate. You went through your pain and weathered the storms that were sent your way. I remember every moment then with you, always stayed in my corner. My father, my first superhero. When I was 100 on the scale, you would take it back to 0. You taught me life and that comes with your terrific. My best friend to be Pacific. Yes, I miss you in the physical. Be you no longer suffer. Yes, you will be missed by sisters and your brothers, plus your wife, my mother. Thank you so much for staying in touch. Even through your absence, I feel you still near. Playing on your Congo drums, listening to Kool and the Gang, while dance like in 99. You prepared for this day, so I got off from here. Yes, I saw you dream. Next day I shed a tear. Let's make it clear, no fear. Yes, I'm still in the clear. This for Father, thank you, Michael. Rest easy in the loving heaven breeze with the rest of the family.
Okay, now, much respect to the family. He didn't just leave me a legacy. That man left me his name. And I got to try to figure out how to fill those shoes. I got to try to figure out how to best compensate and cope with what it is that's going on right now, considering that's a huge blow to the family. I know we're used to people just saying anything online. But this is really one of the moments where it's like, nah, in real life, that man is a pillar. Is, I didn't say was, for the record. He is a pillar. We talk a lot about how men suffer in silence. There's a lot of silent suffering going on over here. But I still show up in life, period. It's not just online. It's life. Like I still show up to life. Because that's how he prepared me. That's how he raised me. See, what I'm doing is I'm following through with what it is that he taught me from the beginning. So when people say, you know, we notice that you are handling this a little different than others, AKA I'm not falling out and acting all hysterical. I have a deep, profound respect for what the other side consists of. And I take time to study as much as I can to get the best understanding that I possibly can come to the conclusion of. And with that, I see how things can turn out. I've been in a position myself where I almost lost my life. And the very day that I almost lost my life was on my father's birthday. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? So every year his birthday comes around, it's another anniversary of that's another year that I've made it through what I made it through as far as being ran over by a train. So I do thank him very much for leaving the legacy of strength and resilience. And you know something, out of most things he would talk to me about, I'm sure he maybe have spoken to me about it, but he never was one of the type that kept on saying, just keep going, like how I do. That's something I do. You know what my father did? He just kept on going and he didn't talk about it. He just did it. He displayed action. He displayed action. And I recognize how valuable that is. And that's why I go so hard when I speak about, you know, when it comes to not giving up, when it comes to, are you serious? That's what you crying about? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be upset at what happens in your life. That ain't for me to say. I'm not you and I'm not in your life, right? But what I am, and even if I was, still is not my place. But what I am saying is that I recognize that everybody responds to things different depending on how well you were prepped for what it is that you're responding to or the lack thereof. I recognize it for what it is and I see it. So, I wanted to make it very clear how thankful I am that I am in the headspace that I am. Is it tough? Is it difficult? Absolutely. I'm actually shocked that I didn't bust out in tears throughout the live. And I believe that that's a certain divine intervention of strength and resilience that's flowing through me from who do you think, right? From who do you think? I know where it comes from. So, yeah, we were built for it tough. But that don't mean that we can't total in an accident. Message. Built for it tough. I recognize what comes with all of this, as in this life. People used to look at me really weird because I would be very interested in looking into like the afterlife and what's it like to cross over? What do you see? What do you feel? What goes on? What's the process? I've always been looked at pretty weird for that. Like, that's where I really get my weirdo from. You see, my fascination with the morbid facets of the afterlife. All right. Whether it was a peaceful crossing or a painful one, I like to study it. Thinking about how the whole transition works. It's crazy because although I do not follow this ideology, it is an ideology that really sits with how I view things. So if you go to the Buddhist perspective is, in a nutshell, all right? So I'm paraphrasing very briefly. It's more like you actually, you know what's going on. You recognize that you are no longer in your body. but you actually have a choice to either go into the light that is ahead of you, as it is spoken, as it is described, or to not. Or to not. Okay. So when I think about it from that perspective, in that sense, now I see exactly how all of that works out. It's more so of a transition, more so than it is of a death. It's not a death, it's a transition. What exactly qualifies you for when you cross over? That's just up to your personal belief. What I do know is that there are multiple locations that one can reside in after transferring. And I keep on getting this indication that where my father is a state of peace. I just keep getting that. That's the number one thing I keep receiving. I'm not having an indication of it's doom and gloom. I could be completely wrong, but I know what it is I have comfort in. How much do we take this life for granted? How much do we see the value in what it is that you are? Have you spoken to somebody that you should speak to? Did you make a phone call you should make before it's too late? That's another reason why I have the comfort that I have. I actually am able to say, I spoke to him right before he crossed. I actually did talk to him. He told me he forgives me. I told him I forgive him. We made amends, slightly laughed about it. His wife, my mother, tells me that he's at peace. And that's the conclusion that I've come to with that as well. What does it look like? What does he see right now? That's the number one thing I want to know. But it's not for me to know. Not right now. I got to wait my turn patiently. Don't rush it. Right? There's too much to learn here still. Okay? But I do wonder that. I do. I think about those things, but like I said, just in case you're wondering, why don't you react how other people do? And I can't stress it enough. Like, that dude really did talk to me about the other side. Me and my father used to have more discussions about like the other side as opposed to here. When we would talk about here, it generally was because I got in trouble about something. So it's like school or something. When I was young, like work, whatever, you know what I'm saying? When I was developing my skills in life. But it's crazy. We actually talk more about the other side than here. So when I say I really am at peace, I just physically miss him. I mean that. It's also a message to you. It's a message to you and whoever you may be. I see y'all in the chat. Respect to you. Do you really have the same plan for exiting your vessel as you would if you had a fire in your home? Tap in. Do you? You see? What is it? A blanket calming. Let me see. Shout out to Bolo. A blanket calming his heart and strengthening his spirit. Give me more elaboration. It would be very nice if you can briefly come up and talk to me. Just briefly. Lord, hold on. Let me see. Lord, we thank you for the life of his father. Oh, okay. I see where you at. Thank you for the work he did. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm big on that. I'm real huge on I am. I'm real big on bragging about like how much that man went all the way out for his family. When I was going through my prison sentence, true story, and this is no shade to my mother who's still here, which I love to death. All right, shout out to moms. But like she ain't want nothing to do with me when I was going through like my street dilemma, right? Pops, my father, he was the one that put money on the phone. He was the one that made sure he kept on seeing to it that no matter what I was going through, that I kept a relationship knit tight with my daughter and the mother of my child to the best of his ability. On some, he's just trying to help the family stay together, right? When I was going through my depressing states in life, it was him. He was the one that was right there. He was the one that was right there. You see? So the effect that that man had in my life, that's beyond anything. And that's why I say my best friend, my superhero, my very first superhero, before it became Batman or Wolverine or anybody else, it was my father. Dad was my first superhero. Indestructible. Man who goes through migraine headaches, lost both his kidneys, and still walks and takes care of his family, lives. My father is like, when I tell you, the epitome of strength and resilience. I'm not just saying it because it's my dad. If I never knew that man, but I just knew the story, I would still report on it because it's that inspiring. My father's resilience is a large reason why I have what I have inside of me. You know, I was talking to my homegirl, right? I talked to my homegirl, Misty. And I remember she was saying to me how, because I was telling her how I have been weeping, but it's to my solo dolo. Like, I ain't about to get up here and start crying. Y'all not going to see that. Lord knows, I could literally turn this live off and just start going all out the woodworks with the snot, the tears, and everything. It's possible, but I'm not going to do it in front of you. She couldn't get it. She couldn't recognize why I was saying what I was saying and for what reason. She's thinking that I need to go ahead and she said, I need to teach my mother and my sister how to cry. No, I don't. No, I don't. They're women. Because first of all, I know that the reasons why a man cries is totally different from a reason why a woman would cry, even if it's the same circumstance as to what they're crying about. Like, for example, such and such passed away. I would cry different for a reason as opposed to why my sister's crying. Her tears are totally separate from what my tears are. You see? So me recognizing that when it comes to the factor of why we mourn, what is that? What exactly is that? Why do you start mourning? Because you actually miss that physical presence What keeps you at peace? What keeps you humble and grounded? Your spiritual foundation. What's inside of here that you know exists outside of your organs and blood pumping? You knowing that light that's inside of you. My father was the main one that always told me that you cannot, what did dad used to say? Dad always said, energy is something you cannot kill. You can pierce my body with a knife or a sword, but you cannot pierce my spirit. That you cannot pierce. You see? That's what he made it clear to me, that you cannot pierce. Why? Because energy is something you cannot destroy. It can only be redirected. I was always told that energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be redirected. All right. So then we get to moving along in life, and I start going through everything I'm going through in life. And I'm up here and I'm complaining, toughest day. I'm doing all this complaining. And he just calmly busts out to me and he just says, listen, look, Junior, because I am Junior. He says, why don't you go ahead and stop trying to carpet the world and just simply wear shoes? First time I heard it, I maybe have been around 16, 17 years old. What? What do you mean? He's like, hey, you keep on leaving out the door trying to carpet the world. Why you keep trying to do that? Just simply put some shoes on. Here go dad again with some mind-blowing shit, you know? Here he go with these deep-ass philosophical type statements. Why you can't just say it to me plain? Man. And then it finally hit me. Man, he's saying that for a reason. Nah, really. Stop trying to get this world to bend to your will. And just know that when you leave out the door, you have to exist and survive in the world in which you're in. But while you're doing that, be in the world, but not of it. It was deep. It was one of those, it just took me some time. It took me some time to really get that one. And so now we're going down the line even further. And Pops get to talking to me one time again. And I go to him because I always, he was like my like certified counsel for like quite some time, right? Before I finally, it's like, I got it, Dad, I got it from here, right? And I'll never forget how I went to him and I was talking to him about how I want to be able to know how to move on in life. I want to know how to extend myself in this life. And then here he comes again, right? Here he comes again. And he just breaks it down to me very simple and smooth how the measure of who you are, like the measure of who you are, will always be measured by what you weigh it as. Again, took me quite some time. The measure of who you are will always be measured by what you measure it as, right? So I'm up here, I'm thinking, I'm going through my head. What does that mean? And then finally one day we talking and I brought that same statement back up to him. And then he breaks down to me, he's like, your worth is based upon how you see it. You're only worth what you know you're worth. You set your bar. You set your price. If there is any at all. You can be one that says, I'm not on the market. And I'm only on the market for God, if you want to say. That could be the case, right? We get to moving along even further in life. And then so I go to him again. And I'm talking to him about a circumstance dealing with relationships. And so here he come again. We riding in the car. And he says, he looks over at me real quick and then looks at the road and he goes, always remember that a man will give a woman things to receive affection, and a woman will always give affection in order to receive things from a man. Now, if you listen to that on a surface level, you would think he's saying that dudes pay for the cooter. No. What he's saying is that it's an equal exchange in which what we all need or what it is we all desire to want. And the true message behind that is life is all about what you give and what you take. And in that same car ride, he then go ahead and transfers me to in this life, it is of equal exchange, right? What one gives, one must withdraw, right? No, what one receives, I'm sorry. What one receives, one must withdraw. Did you receive this life? Yes. Yes, I did, Dad. Okay. All right. Well, guess what? You're going to have to give it back to the universe at some point, and I am too. You were given this life. Guess what you're going to have to do? Give equal reciprocation back to the heavens, back to the stars, back to which it is you came from. What one receives, one must withdraw. You receive some money in your bank account, you withdraw money from your bank account. And that's what I'm like, okay. So we all have to go back. I get to moving on down the line even more. So now we're sitting here and we're talking, and he just busts out of nowhere. And for whatever reason, he wants to start talking to me about the cycles of how life works. Now, all of a sudden, I got to hear a story about the snake skin and how the snake skin is a representation of how life continuously goes on. When a snake sheds its skin, it doesn't mean that it's dead. It just means that it's shed, but it still keeps on going. Where does that come from? Apparently the Native American side. Then that's when I get to learning about all of those factors. So the point in which it is I'm saying with everything is to take into factor and to know how to build on a legacy, to receive, to actually adhere to the fact that you should take time to listen to is the number one thing that I'm about. In case anybody's wondering, like, am I okay? It's like, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I'm being honest. Like, I don't know. I think I am. I think I'm okay. But it's like, it's so many back and forth type of fluctuating, I'm gonna say it, emotions that go on. Because what are emotions? The energy that moves you. Again. So I'm navigating myself through this the best I can through a crash course. Right? I'm gonna take another quick commercial break real quick, just to go ahead and get my thoughts together. Don't mind me. I'm easing my way through this.
it's time for us to tap in. Third eye open like the river. I be running thoughts, glowing, popping up with idea. Yes, yes, you can tell a friend that I'm smitten. I'm the Mr. 007. I'm not here to preach the gospel, but I goes in like the reverend. Shoes off when I walk in and keep it chillin', peaceful. I'm the neurotoxins, fighting off the disease. Cool and collected, well respected. Save the drama for your mama. Speak your mind, hit the lip, kick you chew. Every person in the building, come up and tell me what you think. I retired from the streets, now pushing content and chill beats. Gotta keep your head up even when you feel defeats.
Pops hit me up when I was talking about that phone call when he called me right before he passed, right? And after all that time, that had to have been about, I'm 43. That it's over 30 years ago. Over 30 years ago. I say about a good 35 years ago or something, right? 36, 37 years ago. He brought up this memory of the first day I went to elementary school and when he had to pick me up. And this is a true story. It's my first day in elementary school. And the bell rings and we're let out. I'm part of the walkers. I'm pretty sure people know. You got like, you know what I'm saying, walkers and those who get on the school bus. I'm part of the walkers because my house ain't that far. But it's my first day, so Pop's coming to pick me up, right? Because his job was right down the street from the crib. And he told me while laying in that hospital bed, he mustered up the strength and he said, I'll never forget the look on your face of despair. He said that bell rung. He said all the kids was fluttering and running all around, and I'm looking through the school of all of you guys, and this big herd of kids is just dispersing. Some going to cars, some running down the street, some going on the bus, and I'm looking for my son. And he said, finally, after the crowd scatters, he said, finally, after the crowd scatters, I see you standing there like this. He said, I was up here just nervous and scared as I don't know what, and I was. That's how well protected I was. It was my first day in elementary school, right? And I was always one of them shy kids growing up. And he sat there and he's sitting there, he's like, and I remember coming up to you, and I had to do like this. Pops had to do like that, wave his hands. And then he called me and he said, come on, right? And I never forget that. And it's funny how when he brought it up, it reminded me, it was one of those memories that you don't remember yourself. And I remember that. Yeah, I was nervous. I was scared. I didn't know which way to go. All I know is that the bell rang and there was a bunch of teachers, my PE teacher and a few other, the principal was outside, just making sure everything good. You know how I go with schools, right? If y'all old enough and you know. And I had to wait for everybody to disperse. And at the end of that crowd was standing Senior, my dad. Yeah.
Gave me your name. You see, your I'm Junior, you left a legacy that can never be a duplicate. You went through your pain and weathered the storms that were sent your way. I remember every moment then when you always stayed in my corner, my father, my first superhero. When I was 100 on the schedule, you would take it back to 0. You taught me life and that comes with your terrific. My best friend to be Pacific. Yes, I miss you in the physical. Be you no longer suffer. Yes, you will be missed by sisters and your brothers, plus your wife, my mother. Thank you so much for staying in touch. Even through your absence, I feel you still near. Playing on your Congo drums, listening to Kool and the Gang, while dance like in 99. You prepared for this day, so I got off from here. Yes, I saw you dream. Next day I shed a tear. Let's make it clear, no fear. Yes, I'm still in the clear. This for Father, thank you, Michael. Rest easy in the love in heaven. Breeze with the rest of the family.
Might check 1 2. I've been thinking about it. How much I do not take this life for granted at this point. I just don't. You know, it's amazing how certain events have to happen in your life for you to recognize the elevation, next level that you're supposed to rise up to the occasion of. What I need to be right now is as positively strong as possible. What I need to do is make sure that I continue to keep up the legacy in which my father is raised and taught me as. I am saying this to say, hopefully this is a message to those of us who are parents right now alive. Your impact in your kid's life is lifelong lasting. My father still being here through all of what he's been through. Never left. No cheating on his record. None of that. None of the things that we're typically used to hearing nowadays. I truly mourn not the death of a man, but I mourn the missing of someone who was so impactful in my life, in many people's lives in which he touched, whoever he was around. I'm talking about all the way down to just the local grocery store folks that he went to every time he went shopping. His impact on people is something that will be tremendously missed. Much respect to the family. I digress. My mic is muted. I just wanted to get some things off my chest. That's all. Respect to you all.
I'm a fallen angel from sky. Up above, I'm that man that think is a thug. I'm your drug and your plug. Wings tucked, I seen pain, seen blessings, seen luck. Ran over by train, that's about 8 trucks. Smitty really gritty, but never I'm no slut to the money and fame. You can keep your chain, we free men over here. And in case you didn't know, my favorite color is here. Yes, I'm here, not fresh to death, no stress, no worries. All burdens, I done buried, closed coffin. I'm the beauty of the beast, and a man I found often. I'm the cure to infection. My reflection is broken down in sections. Retired chef outside, still cooking. I be rocking with best. Thank you, good looking. Y'all bammers be lunching on mothers. If you not from my section, then you cool, but not a brother. Lone Star, the astronaut from above. You looking for a fix? I'm your brand new blood. Shotgun slug, flood of the love spreads. Truck by train, made it out by thread. Shoulda be dead, but rose from darkness and walking with an oath. I'm not the goat, I'm shepherd. Blending into the world tree, hiding a leaper. Mr. 7, I'm ghost in flesh.
legacy that can never be a duplicate. You went through your pain and weathered the storms that were sent your way. I remember every moment then when you always stayed in my corner. My father, my first superhero. When I was 100 on the scale, you would take it back to 0. You taught me life and that comes with your terrific. My best friend to be Pacific. Yes, I miss you in the physical. Be you no longer suffer. Yes, you will be missed by sisters and your brothers, plus your wife, my mother. Thank you so much for staying in touch. Even through your absence, I feel you still near. Playing on your Congo drums, listening to Kool and the Gang, while dance like in 99. You prepared for this day, so I got off from here. Yes, I saw you dream. Next day I shed a tear. Let's make it clear, no fear. Yes, I'm still in the clear. This for Father, thank you, Michael. Rest